Oh, hey, how's it going? You know, I am not unaware that the idea is probably to get more engagement on the kind of videos that TikTok would like more people to watch. I doubt it's any particular secret that they're promoting a particular mode of thought. When it comes to a social media platform, any engagement is good engagement. It doesn't necessarily have to be a positive experience for you or me. They are just as happy if you decide to get into a giant argument with someone. You're still going to comment, possibly stitch, duet, do all of the sort of things that promote the engagement of a video. For that reason, while you'd think something called FYP, the For You page, would be something that would be tailored to my interests, that's generally not the case. Unfortunately, the thing is, when I go to my FYP, all I see, 9 times out of 10, is just a bunch of awful, horrible, shitty people. You know, just a bunch of green-haired weirdos. Or far more likely, a faceless coward with a number for a name, calling for my death, my imprisonment, just all kinds of horrible things to say to me, my friends, and the people that I love. Mean-spirited people showing the ugliest parts of human nature, all the while draped in a cloak of good intentions, because, you know, they support all the right people, they use all the right buzzwords, they parrot all the right sound bites. These people who will proudly proclaim how they're the majority, as though might makes right, or as if the worst crimes in human history haven't been perpetrated on minorities by the majority. The people who, despite a lifetime of evidence to prove otherwise, started to believe the TV, and the media, and the talking heads, and the celebrities who've been telling them how much better, and smarter, and braver they are than the people who aren't doing what they're told. Selfish cowards who demand that the entire world bend to soothe their fear while calling everyone else selfish. Just a bunch of narcissists using cognitive empathy to portray a sort of moral ideal. You know, so that they can stand on the top of the hill, point their fingers at other people, and feel better than everyone, whether or not that's actually true. I run into people on here every day who will confidently and just with no shame at all say the most dark, cold, awful shit to me. And they don't have a second thought about it because they feel like they found a loophole or a back door. You know, they found a publicly acceptable form of hate. There's a group of people that they could finally be awful to, and nobody's going to give them a hard time about it. After a lifetime of suppressing their darker impulses, of carefully treading the line and avoiding all of the ists and isms, following all the rules in the special book, these people had an opportunity to finally let loose. To finally be the total pieces of shit they had always secretly wanted to be. And not only could they be a total piece of shit, society would pat them on the back and treat them like a hero for it. Most of the time, it seems like anybody that I would actually like to see the video of, or that would actually have something worthwhile to say or I would like to hear, seems deeply, deeply shadow banned. They're on like their 30th fucking account and that one's got a wording on it. In theory, TikTok is supposed to be an entertaining social media platform. Do you remember when it was like a little kid's app for dancing? It's a lot more than that nowadays, but in any case, I'm not willing to play along. I don't want to promote engagement on that kind of video. After almost 3 years of it, I am really kind of tired of this divide and conquer shit. This identity politics, this virtue signaling, this if you're not with us, you're against us. Trolling, canceling, doxing. This putting you in a box because of the color of your skin or your ethnicity or your religion or your gender or your sexual identity. And then just deciding that you know everything you'll ever need to know about that person just because you've decided you know what that box means. You know, if you're a certain kind of person, you're a born monster, an oppressor. And if you're another person, you might just be a born victim forever. And that's just all you're ever going to be and all you're capable of. And they're going to call that progress. The days of progress or success through individual merit are over. You just have to belong to the right club. Have the right labels. This whole weird way of thinking where instead of actually developing a personality, it's all about labels. Just label this, label that, label yourself, endow yourself with a title, and pretend that it's an accomplishment? This pseudo-cult thinking when it comes to the vaccine and the science, which apparently you're supposed to believe and have faith in now, which is fucking news to me because that's not how science works. You know, science that you can't question, which is really fucking weird because last time I checked, science is questions. Yeah, I'm just not into videos that are full of that kind of divisive bullshit, and I don't want to watch the creators that put it out. There are a lot of people all over the world who have spent the last 2, almost 3 years entirely ruled and manipulated by their fear. They're scared of COVID, they're scared of variants, they're scared of the vaccine and any adverse reactions, whether or not they'll admit it. They're afraid of mandates, they're afraid of saying the wrong thing or pissing off the wrong person and being cancelled and losing everything. And a lot of times when people are scared, when they've spent an extended time in a heightened sense of anxiety, it can look a lot like anger, and you see a lot of that online. I'm not afraid. I'm pretty sure that the only people who are still afraid are the deeply indoctrinated, and I also don't really like it when people lie to my face. So, when I come on here, I can often feel ostracized for not being scared and for being far less willing to take a big bite of a bullshit sandwich. Those kind of thoughts, feelings, and opinions, the way you treat other people, I'm not into that, and I definitely don't want to propagate it. So what I do, instead of engaging or arguing, is just block them. I don't drop a comment, I don't bother trying to argue with anyone, I don't duet anything, I don't stitch it, I just quietly block them. There are so many awful people on here spewing awful shit, and their entire thing, their entire brand is based on that bullshit hate, segregation, division, divide and conquer, us versus them. The newest, biggest, and most prominent, obviously, is the whole anti-vax versus vax thing. Mandates versus anti-mandates. Convoy versus the anti-convoy. Freedom versus pro-segregation. This kind of bullshit, divisive thinking is everywhere online and definitely here on TikTok, and it's going to cover a wide variety of topics. If you just starve them out, they have no content. If you just stop feeding them, they have nothing to put out. Their accounts will die. It eventually turns into them talking about what they had for supper and doing funny filters. Let them starve.